Nick, is Aaron right that this could somehow be good for Green Bay?
No, but if you really feel that way, 1211 Avenue of the Americas is where we work. You can send me a check for $1,000 because that's what you cost me.
You lost some money last night.
Well, I mean, give me a break. No, it's not good for them. They don't have no margin of error. Like, right now, if the playoffs started today, Canty, what's the most important thing to accomplish in the regular season?
Trying to get one of those first two buys.
Exactly right. And the 1 seed is great, but it's a little overrated. The most important thing is to skip the first round.
To get a bye the first round.
So you say it all the time, and you're absolutely right. You'd rather be 1 of 4 than 1 of 6, and you can just the Patriots have had one every year for a decade. One of the reasons they make the conference championship almost every year. Playoffs started today. The Packers don't have a bye. As great as they played, as happy as everyone is, nope. Not only do you not have a bye, you are on the road in round 2 in New Orleans, if assuming you get through round 1. So, no, they have no games to give up. When we talk about the Patriots, I don't think their loss was good for them. But if they had said that, I would listen to it because they do have a margin of error. They are still going to get a bye, probably the 1 seed, and maybe it's bring you back down to earth. The Packers can't be giving away football games. And the way they played offensively was indefensible. I mean, I can't remember a Packers team with a fully healthy Aaron Rodgers where they don't get ruined by turnovers, where they are so incompetent. I didn't recognize this team yesterday.
No.
And Devontae Adams coming back, you thought would be a blessing. Somehow it was a curse. So, listen, the Packers were my preseason Super Bowl pick, yours as well, out of the NFC. I'm not coming off that. But this was a terrible loss for them in what was essentially a home game. I mean, there was 30,000 people at that game. 25 had to be Packer fans. 25,000, pardon me. And so, no, I don't buy that in the NFC this year with the Niners undefeated, with the Saints only with 1 loss, with the Vikings nipping at your heels until the loss yesterday, that somehow this loss is good for Green Bay.
Well, listen, they have the adage in baseball, good pitching beats dominant hitting. Well, yesterday we saw that on display when you talk about the pass rush of the Los Angeles Chargers dominating that offensive line for the Green Bay Packers and affecting Aaron Rodgers. Joey Bosa and Melvin Ingram, 6 quarterback hits between the 2 of them, but that doesn't tell the entire story. They were much more dominant than that. Aaron Rodgers was feeling the heat all day, and Matt LaFleur in that Green Bay Packers run game couldn't provide him any balance. So you saw a one-dimensional offense with a quarterback that was rattled and didn't have the time to make the plays that we're accustomed to seeing Aaron Rodgers make. So, yeah, I guess we should be surprised that they didn't have the performances that we're used to seeing them because they just came off of a huge road win Sunday Night Football against the Kansas City Chiefs in Arrowhead. We know that this team is capable of going on the road and winning big football games, but the fact that they went to L.A. and lost to a 3-win Charger team, it's inexcusable.
And the way they lost.
And the way they lost. It was non-competitive for the most part. I mean, it was a double-digit lead for that Chargers team for the majority of the game.
And you kept waiting for them to get back in it. You kept waiting for Aaron Rodgers to go out there. Nope, punt, nope, punt, nope, punt. It seemed like that was happening every drive. You still trust this team as much as you did a week and a half ago?
You can't trust them the exact. No. Of course you lose with any betrayal, and I consider what you did to me yesterday, Aaron Rodgers, a betrayal. You lose a little bit of trust, but I still think that the Packers, at their best, are the best team in the whole league. I do believe that, but it is concerning that we now saw at their worst. That was ugly. I mean, they were lucky to get to double digits yesterday. They needed a touchdown and a 2-point conversion in the 4th quarter to cut it to 15. That was a shocking result to me. Not just that they lost, but the way the Chargers dominated that football game when the Chargers haven't been dominating anybody this year, and to dominate them defensively. I know they have that great pass rush, but Derwin James didn't walk through that door all of a sudden. And so to me, only 1 first down rushing the football, no running attack whatsoever, no consistent passing game. Watching that game, that was the most shocking of all the games I watched yesterday.
And one of the things that Packers defense has to get cleaned up is their run defense, because it was awful yesterday as well. They've got to fix that. That's starting to become a trend now, and that's going in the wrong direction. If they are going to be a playoff contending team, at some point you got to stop the run and then be able to earn the right to rush the passer and affect the other team's quarterback. They didn't do that yesterday, and they haven't done that in a while now this season. So I'm a little bit concerned about that defensive line and that front 7 for the Packers stopping the run.
Do you worry, though, that they play Carolina next week? If they lose that game, Do we start hearing some rumblings of that relationship coming up again that we haven't talked about all season?
I won't do that. I'm not going
to. Of Rodgers and LaFleur, no?
But so the relationship's been great all year. They lose a game. Nobody says anything about that.
But they lose it in really terrible form.
Right, but is anyone saying that they're mad at each other right now?
No.
No.
Right. So
it's all sunshine and roses right now.
Right. So what I won't do, other people can do it if they want. What I won't do is assign them not only an extra loss, but assign them after the loss drama that we've seen nothing come of it yet so far. The relationship has nothing to do with how they played yesterday, and unless I'm not going to call the fire department for something when there's not even an ounce of smoke, and there hasn't been yet, so I'm not going to go there with this team.
Yeah, there's no blood for the Green Bay Packers too. Everybody else in the NFC North lost yesterday as well, so they still maintain their position. But again, like you said, Nick, they're trying to get the first round bye.
The bye.
You know, they've got to get one of those top. They've got to get one of those top 2 seeds, and we know that in the NFC, wherever that NFC Championship game is going to be played is going to make a huge difference, whether that's Lambeau Field or in New Orleans or in San Francisco.
It's been a long time since the Packers had a bye. I think it was the 15-1 year that you guys beat them.
We went up there
was the last time they had a bye. So they have the opportunity to do something they haven't done in a very long time. Yesterday didn't ruin it for them, but yesterday was an unforced. I'm with you on this. He's been making it all year.
Yep.
There was, through a couple weeks of the season, Patrick Mahomes looked like he was going to repeat his league MVP. Then all of a sudden, he had a couple statistically mediocre games, and he got hurt. And Aaron Rodgers had, a few weeks ago, I think 8 touchdowns in 2 games. And Deshaun Watson, as of late, has surged. And Lamar, certainly as of last night, has gotten himself in the conversation. But there's one guy from week 1, we just finished week 9, has been right there the whole time. And it's Russell Wilson. He's been spectacular. He's made one big mistake all season long. It was the pick 6 to
Marcus Peters.
Marcus Peters against Baltimore. He's doing it with a motley crew of receivers. He had turned Will Dissly, a tight end, into a real weapon. Will Dissly pops his Achilles, no problem. You got DK Metcalf, who can't change direction, no problem. I'll throw it to him in the right direction. And when you watch Russ play, Canty, it seems like the catches seem impressive by the receivers because it's in close windows, but every time it seems like it's hitting the receiver in the perfect position every time. He's playing, this is a first ballot Hall of Famer, playing the best football of his career. So, yeah, he has kept himself atop the MVP power rankings, if you will.
Yeah, he's earning every penny of that $35 million a year extension that they gave him this offseason. But, I mean, they gave him that for a reason, because you always use the term force multiplier. That's exactly what Russell Wilson is. If you talk to receivers that play with really good quarterbacks, they talk about how when the quarterback throws the ball, right before it gets to him, the ball slows down a little bit. That's exactly what seems like happens with Russell Wilson in the passes that he makes to his receivers. And he's got a special type of chemistry with Tyler Lockett. You see in gotta-have-it type situations, he's always looking for Lockett. He's kind of replaced Doug Baldwin in that regard. But in terms of judging quarterbacks and judging who the most valuable player is, all you have to look at it is this. The competitive greatness of the individual player, being at your best when your best was required. Yesterday, in overtime, Russell Wilson, 5 of 8, 70 yards, and a touchdown. But even before that, setting up an opportunity for Jason Myers to have a 40-yard field goal, which he missed. But then the team not flinching because they know they have number 3 under center. That speaks to the importance of what Russell Wilson brings to that team. It's a confidence factor that Seattle Seahawks team is playing with right now. And listen, they didn't return the favor for the L.A. Rams. Rams lost at home to the Tampa Bay Buccaneers. That was a situation based on the deficit that the Seahawks had in that first half, being down 21-7. They could have easily lost that game, but they found a way to hang in there, and then Russell made the requisite plays at the end.
I didn't, as we've joked about on the show, I did not have a good day gambling yesterday. One of the few wins I had was Russell Wilson's Seattle Seahawks, and I got to tell you, even down 21-7, I was never concerned. As long as the Seahawks were going to get the ball, I felt great about it. They were down 21-7, and the Seahawks even's playing terribly. And what does Russ do? Leads back-to-back touchdown drives and the 2-point conversion. Tied 27 apiece. A 3-play, 75-yard drive with the huge play to DK Metcalf. You mentioned after the Seahawks give up another touchdown. I was worried Tampa might go for 2 in that spot because they couldn't stop Seattle. They kicked the extra point. Russell, in less than a minute, gets him in chip shot field goal range. Missed. So win the coin toss, drive him right down the field. He is just in total control at all times. This is that next level of play that I think guys can only get to when they have the talent, the confidence, and the experience, where it does appear that for Russell, everything is slowing down. And I don't think DK Metcalf's a superstar. Maybe he will be one day, but not as a rookie. I don't think Tyler Lockett's a superstar, but his production has been superstar level because Russ puts them in the best position every single week. He was sensational.
Thanks for watching. Subscribe here to get the latest from the show. Also, be sure to check out more of the best clips from First Things First, or go watch a few segments from our other shows on FS1.